Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tisha Jackson from FM Systems, and I want to thank you for attending today's webinar, Better Manage Every Detail of Your Leased Real Estate Portfolio. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your console, there are multiple widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We will answer these at the end, but if we don't get to all of the questions, we will follow up with you after the webinar. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon on the top right-hand corner or by dragging the bottom right-hand corner of that slide area. An on-demand version will be available about 1 hour after the webinar ends and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. Today on the line, we have Brian Haynes, our Vice President of Marketing, and Audrey Hum, our Applications Engineer. With that being said, Brian, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Leisha, and welcome everyone to our presentation today focusing on our lease and real estate portfolio management module. What I'm going to do is cover a few slides to just sort of level set everyone to let you know a little bit about FM Systems. I won't spend too much time in the slides, and then I'm going to turn it over to Audrey, who's going to be doing a live demonstration of our product, and she'll spend the majority of the time of our webcast here today, the 30 minutes in the product itself. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So FM Systems has been around since 1984. We've been actually producing software products for the building industry and in particular facilities management and real estate for the past 32 years. We have a platform, an IWMS solution, integrated workplace management solution, that really focuses on ease of use. It's really one of our key capabilities within our product is that it's been rated highly, usually by Gartner, as the easiest solution in the market to use. It's also got a modular and flexible approach. I'm going to show the number of modules. We have 11 modules now, which are part of our suite. And they are modular, as I said, so our customers can bring them on one at a time and add as they feel necessary. It's also incredibly highly configurable. There's really no other product in the market which has got this unique ability to be able to literally configure every component of the system. Audrey is going to be showing you essentially our out-of-the-box solution today for real estate and lease portfolio planning. But keep in mind that everything you're going to be looking at is pretty much up for grabs in terms of configurability, whether the screens, the look of the screens, the colors used, the way we color code floor plans, the reports that we write, all of that highly configurable. We also provide seamless integration. All of our customers typically will integrate with back-end solutions such as ERP, human resources, accounting systems, and we allow them to do that in a number of different ways. It's incredibly flexible and powerful, as well as providing that seamless integration to those back-end systems. We also provide the software in what we call Your Software, Your Way. We sell the software in 3 different ways. One is more of the traditional model on-premise where you would host it yourself within your own IT environment. We also provide a hosting solution which is similar to the on-premise, except we would be hosting the software for you at our world-class data center. And third, and probably the most popular option these days, what we're seeing is a massive uptick in terms of people who are adopting our SaaS solution. So we offer that in all 3 flavors, incredibly powerful, and all of them are available to you. So what we provide is a platform called FM Interact, which enables facility team members to access, update, and report on facility data, drawings, and models at your desk or in the field. Audrey is going to be specifically focusing on the real estate and lease portfolio management part of our platform. And it's one of the modules that you're seeing on the screen here. All of our customers begin with space and asset management. That's really where you put in all of the information about your facilities, all of the spatial data, as well as assets. They can either be fixed or movable assets within the portfolio. And then the modules around the outside, we've got a number of them ranging from move management, strategic planning, space reservations, which includes hoteling, real estate and lease portfolio management, which is going to be our focus today, sustainability, project management, maintenance management, mobile, and workplace surveys. All of those are all the components that are part of the FM Interact IWMS product suite, keeping in mind that everyone's got space and asset management, and then you can easily add on those additional modules on the outside. So today we're going to be talking about real estate and lease portfolio management. It allows you to get the bird's eye view that can help you better make management decisions and reduce overall cost in either your owned or your leased portfolio. This is we think is a really powerful and unique solution. This is not just a lease administration solution, but this allows you to manage your entire real estate portfolio, including owned buildings. So you can centralize and manage all of that owned and leased property data, and also integrate it with all other key FM and real estate functional areas, including space and occupancy, asset management, project management, whatever you need to be able to solve those day-to-day workflow problems that your facilities team may be experiencing. We can also help you increase operational efficiency. We've got really powerful reports, dashboards, and automated notifications. Audrey will be spending some time showing you our new FMX reporting, which is really top-notch and absolutely best in class in terms of configurability, as well as we can actually teach you to create these reports right there in the browser really quickly and easily. We also allow you to analyze your property financial data, key dates associated with those leases, and documents all in one location, so being able to look up information on escalations, rent bumps, amendments, as well as any documents, including the original agreement, the original abstract, or perhaps photographs associated with your leased or your leased properties, and information about those owned properties as well. Increasing confidence. This is a highly secure web-based product that allows you to provide easy access to all members of your team. It's as simple as being able to use a fairly modern web browser, get in, no plugins required. It's really, really easy to use. Audrey's going to show that off in a few minutes. We also allow you to easily integrate with that back-end system. So if you need to do, if you've got a system like SAP and you want to do process your rent rolls and systems like that, no problem. We can bring that data in and out of our solution really, really easily. We do it for our customers all the time. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to hand it over to Audrey, and Audrey is going to walk us through a live demonstration of the project. Over to you, Audrey.
Great. Thanks so much, Brian. I just have a few things to highlight from there. One is going to be that integration with your space management data can allow us to easily navigate key asset information, or gross rentable area calculations, parking information. Two is going to be one thing. Can everyone hear me all right? I have someone. Yep, I can hear you just fine. Okay, great. Second is going to be the ability to automate tracking of critical dates and generate notifications. Third, we're going to point out here the ability to associate context to your buildings and leases. So who is our tenant? Who is our broker? Being able to quickly and easily navigate to their information. And then fourth, automated reporting. We're going to touch on all of those aspects here. First thing I'm going to do is navigate to one of our buildings pages. What we're going to see here is all of the building information. And this is information you can pull in directly from your space management. So without having to duplicate data, we're seeing all of our buildings and what the type of building is. Here we're having the ability to track owned buildings, subleased buildings, whether we lease the building out to someone else. Color coding these, we can quickly see, okay, what types of buildings do we have? How are they distributed? We can associate all kinds of information from the rentable area, the gross area. And then directly within this view, we can jump to all of the lease agreements that are directly associated to this building. And with the click of a button, we can jump to the lease agreement information as well. That's all within one view, tying in both space management and lease agreement information as well. Being here, we can look at financial information about our buildings, life cycle information. So it's really expanding on that space management about our buildings as well. From here, we can kind of jump a little bit more into about our lease agreements. One thing we're doing here is going to be tracking those critical dates. Being able to enter all of those in one format right here in the system is going to decrease the manual effort in tracking these. You're not going to miss a renewal or an expiration date by having all of these in the system. One way we can look at this is in a data format. Being able to highlight important events such as our lease ends when they're going to expire here in red. We can click through and get additional information. We could make this available to our team members. Additionally, we can send these out in the form of an automated email notification. So whenever we are a year out, 6 months out, or 3 months, we could send these to our team members. We could send these to the tenants, landlords, additional external vendors as well, just kind of keeping everyone in the loop,
and taking out some of that manual process. Those email notifications are also going to be HTML enabled, so we can include any additional information about whether it's a renewal, it's an end. We can include that building information, the lease number, any other information that we have included here, kind of just keeping everyone on their toes and helping us to manage those dates. Now looking at this lease agreement page, essentially everything that we're going to track about our lease can be entered here. Similarly, we have the ability to track important information about those leases through color coding. As soon as I come into my view, I can kind of get an idea of what are those high priority leases, high cost, a monthly rent. Which ones am I subleasing? Do I have any expired leases? Fully configurable as well based on the information that you need to jump into agreements view. As soon as I click on my lease, here we're seeing the information that we have the ability to track. Additionally here, I have the ability to tie back to that space management data. I can click in and I can see the floor plan of the lease I'm looking at. We have very configurable and very granular graphic views, so you can expose particular graphic views to your real estate team. Maybe they need to know how the departments are spread out or how many conference rooms are available. And this is a configurable component, and you can expose this to the real estate team. Here we can enter whichever details you need to track, things like the leased area, who's the lessee, lessor, even pulling in those building details automatically, image, or the address information. Important things we're tracking here are also going to be our financial details. We can track basic information like security deposits, monthly rent, or even track things like straight line rent versus actual rent, which can then go into something like a FASB 13 rent analysis report. This is information you can enter manually, or you can have that automatically pulled in from the system, as Brian pointed to earlier. Our terms. So we're wanting to have this all in that central repository so our members of the real estate team can quickly, easily come in. Do we have any insurance information? What are our rights and responsibilities? Of course, you could enter those all here, or you can point to them in the master lease, which we'll see we do have the ability to enter as a document. Expenses are also something we can track. We'll see here we can enter the transaction date, and then we could pull these into something like maybe an invoice report or an expanded rent analysis report. Then we come to our options again. So we had that major list of options, but then we can drill down to the lease specifically. Do we have any renewals? Do we have any break options? Again, if we were looking at that individual email, we have the option through that configurable email reporting to enter the specific notice date, break date, what are those break notes, and we can actually pull all that information into those emails. This is really helping you to pull back on the manual management of these options. Contacts are another great feature of the Lease and Portfolio Management module. Rather than having to sort through Excel documents or contact information, here you have one central place to track. Who are our tenants? Do we have multiple tenants? I can quickly and easily click through and I can get all of their information here. Perhaps I have a repair. I can come to the building, click into the lease, and now I know who that person is, maybe the property manager. Again, you can define what these fields are and which contacts you have associated. We can define discrete critical dates, attach documents. This is a great way to be tracking that original lease document and amendments, rent letters, attaching it directly to that central repository. And then additional details. If you need to track parking, taxes, insurance information, this can also be configured to be associated directly to the document. Final point I mentioned was the analytics, that ability to track all this information, but then get automated reporting out of it. One thing we're going to want to track in the reporting side is going to be the ability to do the critical dates. So if we come into our critical dates, or maybe a rent analysis report, we can come in and look and see, so how is our rent, maybe I get a timeout here real fast. Live demos are always fun and interesting. I'm going to come back into my rent analysis report. And here what we're seeing is just essentially how is our rent distributed across the types of properties we own. So we have 73% of our rent going to the owned properties. Again, this is a configurable report in that we could see maybe across owned buildings. Maybe we could look at this by the type of lease it is, gross, double net, triple net. And then we break it down by the building. And here we're seeing maybe if it's above the average rent per square foot, we're getting a highlight here, letting us know that maybe we're spending a little bit more on that property, and we could dive into the specifics of that lease. We can actually change the type of report here, type of graph, giving us a different way to look at the data. Sometimes we're getting more specific requests, and we can do that. Here we can do dynamic filters. Maybe we're just looking for leases that start after a time. Maybe we want to know if it's a sublet property. Again, just kind of being able to look at this and get the information we want in a quick, dynamic way. Here's that sort of FASB 13 rent schedule. Being able to look at specific leases in our straight line versus actual rent. Here we're looking at what is the accrual for our different buildings. Here we're spending a little bit more, and here we're kind of losing in our New York properties. So being able to look at that straight line rent and the actual rent, kind of compare what's happening at those different buildings and how is this distributed across our leases. What this graph is showing here is that straight line versus actual for each lease. So if I come through, I might be able to compare and see which leases are doing better. Maybe I want to shift that around a bit. So you can really use these analytics and the reporting to get an idea of how you're doing on a rent schedule way, and maybe you can shift around some of those reports. Here I'm looking at my upcoming critical dates as well. So we saw before I can look at it in a data view. We can also look at it in a reporting. So how am I doing by type? So it looks like most of the upcoming events are going to be lease ends. You can also look at it by which buildings have the most upcoming critical dates. Maybe looking at it over time. Maybe we need to watch out for this in 2019. We have a lot of upcoming events. So we're going to have a lot of people maybe. Maybe we need to hire some interns to take care of all the events that are coming up. And then, of course, we can look at it in this sort of calendar view by building, which events are coming up. These are configurable reports, and you can really use them to help you look at the data in a different way, help you get a handle on the things that are. Pull up one more report for us, and then we'll start taking. And this is another way to look at our rent analysis, just kind of looking at how that rent is distributed. You could also use the reports here to do an invoice report, for example, kind of taking that monthly rent combined with expenses, and then look at it by lease. So we can look at a single lease, and that's something that we would typically send out maybe to processing, but you could definitely use the lease and portfolio module to generate that data for you. That's most everything we have for the tracking of data, for reporting and analytics. And we'll go ahead and take some questions. If you can submit questions at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little button called Q&A.
Hi, Audrey. I think I was on mute.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. Also, keep in mind, everyone, if you've got questions, go ahead and enter them into the Q&A pane. So the first question we've got is it possible to provide access to critical date reports, et cetera, to users outside of the system? Do you want to take that one, Audrey? Oh, did I lose her?
Oh, sorry. So actually the report, we do have a scheduling functionality. So if you go into your report management, you can actually schedule these reports, send them out as PDF, Excel documents, so you can send those to users outside of the system. Does that answer your question?
I think, yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yep. The next one is,
Brian,
does the system...
Brian, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It does answer the question. The next one is, does the system have the capability to generate billing for the leases?
So typically, we can generate kind of something like an invoice report. One note is we typically don't process those inside of the system, not an invoice management system. However, we could generate sort of like billing or a monthly report.
Okay. The next question is, are these canned reports that are available in the system, or are they created with the new FMX reporting?
Great question. These are created with the new FMX reporting, so you would have full access to create these same exact reports. However, they are not canned reports.
Great. Here's another one. Are there restrictions on what web browser you're using, and do you have to use a plugin to view these reports?
There are minor restrictions on the browsers. We do have a compatibility matrix, but you can use Safari, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, etc. You do not have to have a plugin to view reports, though, or to create them.
Yeah, the report engine actually uses HTML5, so as long as you're using a fairly modern web browser, we're not going to have any difficulty viewing those reports. One more question. Does the software address any of the needs related to the upcoming lease accounting standard? And the answer is we will be providing that when the new FASB reporting requirements. I believe the date for the new accounting standard is 2018. Currently, we do support, as Audrey was showing, the FASB 13 report focused on your leased property. The new reporting requirements will also include the requirements for tracking leased assets, such as equipment, vehicles, etc. We will be fully supporting that when that accounting standard goes into effect. Currently, we are supporting the current version of FASB 13 with our reporting. Here's another one. Can you restrict which building-specific users can access?
Absolutely. You can restrict specific buildings and specific floors. Additionally, you can restrict specific reports, specific data views, and specific graphic views. So the reporting or the permissions actually get very granular in what you restrict and allow.
So here's a good one. As a matter of fact, we got asked this question recently. Can percentage rents that vary and are not known until reported from a lessee be updated in the module? And the answer is absolutely yes. We can provide you with the ability to be able to put those percent rents in. We can do things such as allow you to be able to put in, if you've got a rent associated with the amount of revenue being generated by a retail space, we can you can put that in as well. The system is highly configurable, and we can absolutely do that. All right, here's another one. Can one create internal rent for internal cost-based management? Yep, absolutely. I mean, really one of the key features of our space and occupancy planning module is the ability to be able to do those internal chargebacks. We've got many customers who are doing that based upon the amount of space and space type that they're using or have assigned to them specifically. Here's one. Audrey, you may have to answer this one. Could we default to see BOMA standard square footage in the real estate module while using gross square footage in the space management module?
So you choose for each building which standards you want to see, if that answers your question. But however, you are able to enter like a leased square footage, which differentiates from the square footages that come in from the CAD drawing. So if you wanted to differentiate those within lease management, you could do that. And then, Laura, if you want to send us a specific question around that to get a little bit deeper, let me know.
Okay, so this question is in relation to the percent rent question that we got earlier. Can those revenues associated with the percent rent be tracked in the system? Yeah, absolutely. Due to the highly configurable nature of our modules, Audrey could actually just go ahead and configure that right now and add it if we know exactly what those fields were and the calculations were. It's really quite simple to be able to add that. So, yep, you would be able to associate those revenues with the percent rents being tracked in the system. Not a problem. Can the data be exported to Excel?
Absolutely. We can export data from the data views to Word, Excel, CSV, or PDF. You can export data directly from the FMX reporting tool to PDF, Excel, CSV. You can also export your floor plans to PDF well.
I believe also in the timed component of the reporting, can't we export the data or report at timed intervals? Let's say every Monday morning I want to send a lease critical date report to all affected parties who may be occupying one of those lease spaces.
Absolutely. Yes, you can do that scheduled report. So I could have, every team member get this upcoming critical date report in the form of Excel every Monday morning, or Excel and PDF Monday morning.
Yeah, I love that capability because it doesn't even require the person to have to, hit the page inside of FM Interact. It's literally going to show up in their email and allow them to access that outside of the system. So that's the last question we have in our queue. We'll stay on the line for a few more minutes, but I wanted to thank all of you for attending our webcast today, keeping in mind that this is being recorded, and we will be sending this out to everyone who signed up. You'll be getting a link, and basically either by the end of the day or early tomorrow, we will have this recording available to all of you who attended, as well as people who signed up but couldn't attend. They will get that link. So thank you all very, very much. We appreciate you attending our webcast today, and we look forward to speaking to you hopefully in the near future. Thank you.